everyone, welcome to Amy's Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you how to turn a cross stitch pattern into reality. This is an 8 by 8 centimeter cross stitch, therefore we have to have enough space here. Each of these symbols represent a colour. The number of the colours listed here, or in the cross stitch pattern you're trying to do, you might already have the threads with the pattern as like a kit, but each of them will have a symbol which will then connect to where it goes on the fabric. To find the centre, there's arrows top and the sides which go to the centre, and on this pattern I've actually got a cross here, so I know that I start with U, which is blue, which is 3841, which I've got right here. You can look how much you might need by looking at the pattern, so I'll cut it. These embroidery threads come with 6 little threads inside it. We want 2 of them, 2 right here. Pull that off. It can get quite knotted at this point. So we've got our 2 threads. We put a knot in at the end. Then we thread the other side through the needle. And that's all set up.
Switching to voiceover real quick because my explanation was rubbish, but what I was trying to say was that you can take a photo or screenshot of your pattern and use a pencil icon in photos to cross off the stitches as you go along.
So the centre of the fabric is here. Push the needle through, down diagonally across. Then we go to the back. We thread the needle between the 2 threads which have been knotted. And that is our first stitch. Then we do the next one. And we just follow the pattern. So for this colour, we go 4 across. I've currently done 2 across. 3, 4. I'm going to be keeping track of it in Photos app. I've done 4 across here, so I'm going to cross them off. I'll come back to you when I've done 9 more rows up here. Now we've got some half stitches here.
So I'm going to do 3 across first.
This next stitch is only a half stitch. I'm going to stitch it down halfway along so it's halfway between each hole. Cross these off, and the next one is only a half as well, so we'll go in halfway and then put it through the normal hole, and then we do 3 back across. As this is cross stitch, you have to cross over back the other way to make it a cross, so I'm now going to go through the entire thing the other way. So it's made a cross, another cross, do a half cross and another half cross, and back to full crosses for the rest of the way. For beginners, I would suggest going up and down, up and down. It's just much easier to keep track of where you're going. I'll come back here when I've done these ones. I've now fully completed all of these with all the crosses. And now to end the thread. So there's multiple ways of ending the thread, but the way I do it is I loop the needle through 2 of these loops at the back, and then I thread my needle through the little loop that this thread just caused, and then through the loop that thread just caused to make a knot. So I thread it through the back of these loops to make sure it's not going anywhere. There you have it. From the pattern to reality. The most efficient place to go next after doing this one thread would be to do the one next to it, which happens to be M, which is black, 310. So we've got 310 here. 5 down, 4 across with a half in the corner. Then I'll see you back here when I've done 3 more rows of that. Now is a half one, so we do the same as we did up here. We find halfway between these 2 holes and back through the main hole, and then 3 more across. Now we do the cross back the other way, making sure we do a half cross here. Be back here and these are all fully crossed. So the black is now fully complete, which means we've got our first highlighter. If you hadn't noticed, this is a stationary cross stitch in the theme with back to school. I made this cross stitch. I've been considering whether I should try selling my cross stitch patterns, but I'm not sure whether I should bother because I don't know if people would buy it. Comment down below any tips you have, or whether you would buy it. Now to end this off. Now we're going to move on to this pen. To get to it, count from this one, for example. This corner corresponds to this corner here. 1, 2. So I'm going to do 1, 2. Where the needle is now is that corner. So I'm going to take the needle out and push it up through that corner.
And follow the pattern like we had been doing previously.
Now we're moving on to the next colour, which is orange, and I'll report back to you when I've done 16 down and up. The orange is done. Now we have to do this final black stitch. Creates the pen. You'll see that there's actually a white line going down here, which is back stitch. You have to get the white thread and stitch, back stitch down the middle of these stitches. Start it off the same as normal, but just this time we're stitching straight line down the middle. Find the middle between the two holes, put it down back in the middle, thread through the loop back, and then we find the middle again, and we put it back through the middle of the one above, and so on. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up because that really helps my small channel. That's the next item, crossed off. I'm going to go and do this eraser here and report back to you in about 1 second. As you can see, I've fully cross-stitched the eraser here. I'm going to spend probably 2 hours cross-stitching the rest of this pattern, and I'll be back when it's complete to show you the end result. So it's actually the next day now because cross-stitch takes a long time. But as you can see, the pattern is now fully complete. All of this is now copied onto here. That's how to follow a cross-stitch pattern. I'm going to be making more of these cross-stitch patterns in the future and more videos to go along with them. If you would generally buy a pattern like this, could you comment down below because it would be really helpful. I'd like to sell my patterns, but I'm not sure whether I should bother. I don't know if people would buy it. If you've enjoyed this video, please press the like button and subscribe for more. Happy crafting!